Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Factorio. We're standing in the middle of our starting base, which is aiming to provide us with some basic research and all of the things that we're going to need to build a bigger base in the future. I'm going to keep reminding you of that because I know that this thing is getting pretty spaghetti, and we actually started off with a really intelligent design over here that worked quite well, but I didn't know how far this thing needed to go, and we've still got a few more steps to go before we can reach the next level. So down here you'll see that I've shimmied across some coal, and if I'd have designed this thing better, we probably could have had a belt of coal running through the middle and then do all of what I'm about to do just somewhere over here next to where the labs are. I also designed this thing with scalability in mind. This part right here, we could actually clone what you're looking at, double it up and have another set of potion creation over here, but I think we're going to be able to move ahead just fine with the potions that we have. So up the top here we're going to start to let everything back up because we're going to focus on a new type of potion, which is the military potion. If we go to our radar and zoom in over here, we've got this thrown together temporary oil setup. I want to build a proper one with a better ratio to provide us with much more plastics and other liquids as well for future expansion, and that means that we're going to need more pump jacks up here, and of course we're already creating a fair bit of pollution, so we need to go and take out these bases, and I want to be better equipped to do that, so we need to do research. Now if we go into our inventory and we look at the black potion or the science pack, military science pack, you can see it needs gun turrets, piercing rounds and grenades. We're actually making 2 of those already. So up here we have gun turrets, and that's why I thought if there were a belt of coal running through here, this would be a good place to assemble it all. And then down on this side we've got our piercing rounds, so we'll probably take them out of these and put them onto a belt. And then we've got the coal down here so we can make the grenades. So in this area we'll make all 3 of those things and create a belt that comes to the bottom of these science labs. And then for the beginning part we'll make use of the bottom half, and then we'll see how the whole factory does with that, and then maybe I'll shimmy it around, change this belt up the top here, and we can put some in from the top. Now you might be thinking, how are you going to do that with this setup? Well, we can put inserters facing in like this. If we have other inserters going upwards as well, they're going to need to be filters. In fact, I think they're going to need to be filtered both ways, because of otherwise they're going to just shimmy the potions around over and over again. So we'll probably make it so we have a filtered one going upwards for military. Yes, that sounds like it would work. Anyway, that is our objective for the beginning of this episode, and if we go in here you'll see there are quite a few things, I believe, that use just red, green and the black one. Yep, there it is, the flamethrower for example. We can upgrade our gun turret damage, shooting speeds and damage, and we're gonna do a whole bunch of research here. Yep, what is this monstrosity that you are looking at? I just couldn't help myself. I wanted to squeeze everything into this compact little space. And if you're actually making like your first ever factory, it's probably not great to do things like this. This is not like a very clever layout because it's not scalable, but I love the challenge of just trying to squeeze things into a small space, and actually found a way to bring the coal in from the left hand side and then steel over here from the right. Now I think I've done all of my ratios correctly except for this. Well, it does 3. Anyway, here was the thinking. This one takes 8, so 2 of them is 4, right? And then that's faster still, and the same goes for this. So yeah, actually the ratio is fine, but these take 10. So if I have 3, then I have more than enough. So we're probably going to see these 2 right here. The first 2 are pumping out these packs all the time, and the last one does it every so often, I believe, is what it's going to look like. But if I leave it running for a while, we might see some of the materials start to stockpile. There's something else that I need to do here as well. I want to get some of these stored inside of a chest again, because I removed that, and I've done that over here with the grenades, although they're only going to back up when I'm not doing doing research, so it kind of makes this chest right here actually suboptimal. So I think what I will do is put something directly into a chest that can't be taken out of. So over here on the side, I'll add a power cable and we'll put it into a chest, and then this will just become a belt. Okay, I'm not sure if this trick works, but if I put a blue one there, would it have priority over the yellow one? I think it would. I've also got a large amount of these in my inventory, so we'll put them there. And let's wait a second. Okay, it's about to tick over, and the yellow one took it. Huh. Well, I need to find a way for that to have a priority, but we're going to leave that alone for now because our potions are building up. All I got to do down the bottom here is add some inserters. So by the looks of it, I can do 2 extra rounds on these. We will get all of those done for the bullet speed and damage. We'll do the gun turrets. I'm going to do the grenades as well, which we have a few rounds on. And lasers as well. Yeah, I'm going to do pretty much all that I can with this. Oh, and I just noticed something. We can make modular armor. This will be a one-off craft that we'll make in an assembling machine. And look at this, we've got loads of backed up red chips. That's what reminded me of it. So if I grab a little bit of steel here, we can upgrade our armor as well. And that's going to be perfect for going out there and fighting the aliens. And we're not making batteries yet. So having solar panels or night vision in there really doesn't make any sense. There might be something I can research that's of use before we make those things, but I'm not going to worry about that. This will be a huge upgrade. Well, this is fascinating. I've gone AFK for a brief moment and we've lost power in the base. That hasn't finished crafting. Okay, have we run out of coal? That could be the only thing really that I can think of. So over here, I'm a little surprised to see that we haven't run out of coal here, but I'm going to guess what happened was that by adding extra coal demand in our base, we started to shimmy too much of it up here, and then it ran out coming down here. So when we get this back up and running, we need to make sure that more of it is coming through here on priority, I guess. Hopefully I can figure out something for that. Anyway, this should be alright because I happen to have a fair bit of coal in my inventory from where I've been playing around with those coal belts. So over here, what we're going to do is add a splitter. So it's going to split the input in half. And that's actually going to go over here. So half or whatever comes through here will go down to this bit. If you look at how it was before, it was half would go that way, then half would go this way, where I don't think it's even being used at the moment. But that just kind of ensures that we're going to be sending a fair amount that way. So now if we do that, you'll see quite a bit will go there, and less is coming down this side, but the other side there is full. So that's fantastic. We should now be at back up to full power. Excellent. But here's the thing. We are so going to run out of coal soon, and we have just started to use more of it for our research, so we need to ship coal in from somewhere else. If we go to the mini-map... Oh, there's a big old patch right there. Perfect. I wasn't aware of that. That was the other patch that I knew of, and I knew it was small, and I thought it was going to be scary to try and run the base off of that, because it's even less than what we got. Well, that's just perfect. That's in the perfect position, so we'll create a little extension and mine all of that coal and bring it down here. Oh, and by the way, I could actually make this even better and feed it in like so. So then it can push to both sides of the belt. That is probably even better than the setup we just had. I just spotted a little bit of missing track here that couldn't go straight down because then it would connect with that. So I turned it to the side. Now the red circuits are moving into here, and we're going to actually be creating these, although it kind of looks like I never finished setting this thing up. Ah, you're just pointing the wrong way. There we go. Excellent. These are going to be very useful in the near future. I didn't think it was so at first, but we can actually support a fourth one of these, which will help speed up our research. So you can see I've reconfigured the belts here, and the fact that that's kind of on the other side now shouldn't really be a problem because it's always going to take an equal amount from down here, so that will sort itself out. And anyway, those go in there. I think all we need is just a power cable for this. Okay, this is an interesting tactic for diagnosing what's going on. I've gone into production, which you open by pressing P. I've highlighted the ingredients for the potions, and you can see here what the weakest one is. And then down here you can see the amount of the potions that we are producing, which I think is actually doubled because we produced 2 at once. You'll see I put in some speed upgrades here because I noticed that this thing wasn't ever supplying enough cogs to power both of them, which it did once I put in the speed upgrade, but then I decided to put one there as well. So maybe I need a way to perhaps shimmy the cogs from here just down to this one, which should be relatively easy. And again, if I put some speed upgrades in all of these machines, we can just make it run a little bit faster with the space that we have. Alright, much of the military research has been done. In fact, all the ones I said I would do, the red, green and black ones, have been done. I've even accidentally done a couple with the blue right here and unlocked a couple of extra things. I need to make myself a combat shotgun, that is for sure. And just over on this side, I created a couple of these things that I vaguely remember from when I played the game a long time ago. Looks like I missed a belt just over here. where you can throw down a poison capsule and then it does something to attack the enemies. Over here we have a slowdown capsule to slow them down. I'm not sure if I'm going to use those that often, but these sound really great. They're like little temporary defender robots that will fight alongside you. So not only have we got loads of bonuses and upgrades now to our weapons, we can make a couple of new weapons. We've got these things to use in the fight as well, so that's superb. Remember, the objective here is to output some more pollution from where we're producing crude oil. So now we're going to go on a little bit of a rampage and visit some of the nearby bases. So my friends, it's time to have a little bit of fun killing aliens. I've also upgraded bullet damage tier 5, so started to use some blue potions. It's also night time. Maybe I'll just wait. I was supposed to have brung grenades with me. I don't know what happened to them. I could have swore they were in my inventory. Okay, we left click to bring out a couple of these fellas. Then they follow us around. They last 35 seconds. Okay, it looks like all the upgrades have served us very well. And these little defenders are helping me out. That's terrific. Okay, let's tab and switch to the shotgun. Whoa, that's effective. Hello. Although now I'm getting hurt a little bit, so let's bring out a few more of those. Excellent. And then charge on back in here. We are chewing through a little bit of the ammunition here. The problem is when I do this, I get hit a lot more. But then we're quite fast at taking these down. Cool. And those little defenders are alright. Not super effective, but they're doing a good job. We might as well wander on up to the next thing over here. I do have a car, and I could put some coal in the car. And then we can take a little ride and just plop ourselves down here. So the robot can keep up with us. I'm going to probably call them robots. Let's try and use a slowdown capsule. Okay. And then a poison capsule. Wow, that was way more visual. And let's switch back to our machine gun for this one. Okay, I'm aiming, I'm shooting. We're getting in a little bit closer. We're taking damage. And there are only a couple of nests, but shooting them works out pretty well. Do I dare walk into that thing? I don't think that I do. Okay, do we have another nest nearby? We do. We just got one up here. Okay, with these things behind me, I'm feeling quite confident. So we're just going to march on up to the next one. And I'm going to shoot at the nests, and hopefully these guys will guard me a little bit. Although, we've got a worm thing over there, which we've got to watch out for. Okay, I tried to chuck a poison thing on top of it, but I think I missed. Anyway, taking out a nest, and now taking out that guy. Awesome, this should be nice and easy. I've also got to remember not to leave the car behind, so I should pick it up. We can also mount this thing with a gun, or has it already got one there? I think it already has its own gun, right? So I can shoot them from in here. I can probably have the defender capsules follow me as well. Okay, so we're going to take out these two nests, and then we're going to head across to the right on the map. And I've got this as well, so I can repair the thing as I go. Is that repairing it, or do I have to step out of it? Yep, got to step out of it to repair. Okay, this next nest looks absolutely huge, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There might be a limit to how many can follow us. I think that's the thing. And we've got a fallback position just over here. Maybe should have made that a little bit closer. Oh my goodness me. Okay, let's throw a couple of these in. Got to use the range properly. There we go. Hold down spacebar. I can hold down spacebar when I throw them as well. And now we need to focus fire on a nest, I think. Wow, we are getting swarmed here. And I've got quite a few defenders. Defender capsules. Right, let's swap weapon here. There we go. Oh, I'm taking damage though. But I'm doing damage as well, and that's what's good. Oh, that was close. My health came down here. Look at all these corpses on the ground. Terrifying. Alright, here we go. Another big base. This is just easy peasy really. It's just a bit of a grind now to go around and take all of these nests out. Should really focus on them one at a time so they stop spawning more aliens. Alright, let's have a look. So we've gone up here and around. Missed out on that a little bit. We're going to come down here, get those two nests I think, then come down and get these two here. So we've cleared a nice circular area around our oil. Alright my friends, that's all been taken care of. Cleared it all out. Went a bit crazy there, maybe did too much. But don't want to take any risks. And I got the pump jacks in my inventory, so we're going to install a few more over here so we can pump out plenty, as we're obviously going to be expanding our oil production now. I say oil production, but what I really mean is petroleum and then just about everything else. And we're going to have a small space, and it's going to be a challenge to squeeze it in here. Remember, early game we're just having fun doing spaghetti stuff. Later game we're going to revisit this whole thing with some interesting ideas. So I have done a few bits of research. The last one I did was to get these processing units, because if we want to start doing stuff like power armor, we're going to need some. And at this point I'll just be putting them into a chest and carrying the things around and making whatever it is we need. I think this needed some as well. So we'll really be able to upgrade again. And another thing we're going to research in the very near future is this. Right, and the key thing to look at here is that it uses lubricant, and we're going to make some lubricant over here. Although we've already actually done that, we're going to do that again and then make these things. Sulfur, sulfuric acid, which makes batteries and makes these things, and we're also going to make some explosives over here. So I've shipped in some iron and copper from our belt down below. We've got our coal at the top there. I've got a water pipe coming in, and then we're either going to have our red and green chips for the blue one coming into this area as well. So what I got to do is design a layout. Now the first thing we're going to do is take our oil and mix it with water and do this advanced. This is another thing that I researched. Now the ratios of this stuff that it puts out and the time that it takes to do it means that we can leave over this 10 red oil and get rid of the rest of the light oil through this process right here. So just imagine that all of that is getting turned into petroleum with a little bit of heavy oil. Now the heavy oil we can turn into lubricant, but when we fill up with lubricant we're going to create a tank that then activates a pump to move the heavy oil over into this one and turn it back into light oil, which then in turn goes into here. So I'll need to double check those ratios and make sure that we don't need two of these machines for this one as well, right? So we're going to create a little modular setup out of all of those right there to do that job. And then the petroleum gets shipped over to the back here. So first of all it's going to go into sulfur, then we'll have a belt with some iron going across here, and we'll also have to bring in some coal from above, and then with the sulfur it can make both of those components. Then the sulfuric acid gets shipped into the batteries, which need the copper and the iron, which we've got coming from over here, and then from the opposite side we've got these ones. So that is the general idea. I laid it out like this so I could explain it, and now off camera I'll do all the fiddly stuff and see if we can make a nice little structure here. So I've crunched the numbers, 2 of these right here, and 2 of those will be more than enough, only slightly more than enough, to get 3 of these going. And I think that's what we're going to aim for with the space that we have. And we're yet to do all of that, of course. So over here we're wrangling in some water, and it doesn't look particularly pretty. The water even comes down here to this one. Now the light oil that comes out of here goes straight into these because that is fast enough to keep up with the output. So that's terrific. That won't cause any backup. And the red goes straight down to this pipe right here, which is quite important because we're going to introduce something rather fancy here, except for some reason I can't see it in my inventory. Okay, so I believe this cable just disappears if you break the things that it is attached to, but this is a logistics cable, and we're going to attach it from this storage tank over here for our heavy oil to this pump. Okay, and this allows us to go in here and have an extra set of options. Now, I always struggle with remembering which way around these are supposed to be, but essentially what we're going to do is we're going to pick out the liquid of heavy oil, and then we're going to set an amount like, let's say, 1,000. So if I put that symbol in the middle there correctly, when there is 1,000 heavy oil in here, it's then going to let this pump activate and pump it through to there. So we're essentially saying we're going to create lubricant with all of the heavy oil that we make, but if the lubricant backs up and we no longer need it, then it slowly builds up in this tank, and then when there's enough we send it through this pump into this machine right here. This one is then going to create light oil, and I think I actually missed something here. I did. I also need to have a connection like that, and I can also then go here, do that. Right, so if we shimmy it in like that, we can have a connection going across. Excellent. That's the change that I needed to make. So now that light oil can come in from this side as well as from the top there as well. And because this deals with that fast enough, it should be able to deal with a little bit of this. What we may actually see is if the red oil backs up enough, is that we need more of this process in order to shimmy it all the way through. Otherwise the liquids might back up. So I can always just add an extra one of these over here in this space. So that shouldn't be a bother. Excellent. Alright, so anyway, we'll get that up and running soon. And now I'm going to prepare the layout of all of this. This is all now working as flawlessly as I would have hoped. We've got a little backup of sulfur at the moment just because it took me a while to get this running. I had a bugged out chemical plant. It wouldn't accept anything into it until I rebuilt it. But now, slightly worrying, it has stopped again. Actually, is it this here that's bugged out? Because it's not taking out the batteries and putting them into this chest. Aha! That was the real problem. So when I removed this, I picked up the batteries. Anyway, everything's going great. If we have a look in over here, you'll see there's a little bit of heavy oil in. And so I opened this up and I changed it around to the other way. So now that'll only work when there is 1,000 built up in here. And right now the lubricant is just filling up into this machine. And, you know, if you want to study the layout, here it is. It's not pretty, it's spaghetti, but all the ingredients are coming to the right places. And I've got some speed modules for this one, just to speed it up. And when we've got a few more of those, we'll be able to make speed module level 2, because those are some of the things that I researched, and they need these processing units, so they'll go straight back into here. And that is precisely what I've done. We've got a speed 2 module. I also just learned that you can move this around. There we go. If you click on that line, didn't know that. I think it will just open back up in the default position. And this thing is running perfectly in line with the amount of sulfuric acid we're getting from over here. So this might just tip it over the edge a little bit and mean that we start to diminish our supply here. But now we're creating a stockpile of these and a stockpile of those. We're actually going to need a fair few more batteries in the long run. So that will be done. And also over here I missed out a belt. I'm sure some of you noticed that. So now we've got a whole bunch of explosives as well. But anyway, this is where we're going to wrap up the episode. Thank you as always for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.